That is, to me, the essence of what rock and roll music is, man. It's so full of life. Like, it's 3 in the morning, but they've transported me into a completely different mood. So I'm a massive fan of documentaries, and some of the best ones I've seen recently have been music documentaries. For example, the Kurt Cobain documentary, Montage of Heck, actually made me fall in love with that band because it provided context to Kurt's life. It's actually the reason why I made that very first reaction video on this channel to the song Lithium. I also saw the Amy Winehouse documentary, which was awesome. I need to check out more of her music too. But recently I saw the Oasis documentary Supersonic, which was brilliant. It made me really appreciate the band and that movement, which was the Britpop movement of the 90s, why they were so successful, because I had heard songs like Wonderwall and Don't Look Back in Anger. In passing, I thought they were good songs, but I didn't really understand the meat and potatoes of what they were trying to do with their music. And after having seen the documentary, I want to check out more of what I've heard in the little snippets that they provide in there. So here we are, we're checking out this track here. This is the titular track of the documentary called Supersonic. And as I was talking about in the poll, I asked you guys what 90s music I should hear. A lot of you guys wanted me to hear some Oasis stuff. So here we go, let's check out the track. Here we go with Supersonic by Oasis. Sometimes it just takes the first few opening notes to grab you by the balls and let you know that this is a fantastic track. I mean, those guitars just sound so massive, dude. And there's this weird, like, I don't know what that is in the background. It's like a crackling or something like that. See if you guys can check that out. I'll go all the way back again. Here we go. What is that? Wow, the sound of this record, the sonics of it are just incredible to me. The way that it comes through on these headphones, man, I can't even imagine listening to this thing live. Now, this was a track that was, of course, featured in the documentary, and I thought it sounded great then. But I mean, really sitting here listening to it, it's just nuts to me that this was the very first track of theirs. Talk about a statement of intent of what you're planning to do. I think your first album, the first records you do kind of sets the tone for what you're going to do. And what they're trying to tell you with this sound is they're trying to take on the world. I mean, that's what it sounds like. It's just this belligerent, dirty, beautiful, just all-encompassing guitar sound to me, man. I love the sound of this thing. Talk about a way to introduce yourself. I need to be myself. I can't be no one else. It's kind of the ethos of the band that I took away from the documentary too. It's like we're kids from a council estate and we're going to take on the world with this incredible sound, this rock and roll music we have. It's beautiful to me, man. I love the philosophy of that. It sits well with me. I've always loved attitude in music. believe Noel wrote this in 15 minutes. Apparently, they had another single that they weren't sure about, and so Noel went back and all the other guys left, and he wrote this thing in 15 minutes, which is, I think, speaks to the style of what's being said here. It's not necessarily telling a story. It's just great one-liners after one-liner. I mean, there's even tracks or lines that don't make sense completely. He lives under a waterfall. Nobody can see him. Like, what the hell does that mean? The way I take it is that he's magical, essentially. That's the takeaway from this line. But regardless, it doesn't need to make sense. It just sounds fucking cool.
You need to be yourself. You can't be no one else. I know a girl called Elsa. She's into Alka-Seltzer. She sniffs it through a cane on a Supersonic train, and she makes me laugh. I got her autograph. She done it with the doctor on a helicopter. She's sniffing in a tissue, selling the big issue. When she finds out, no one's gonna tell her what I'm on about. You need to find a way for what you wanna say, but before tomorrow,
There's one thing I've noticed about bands in the 90s. I think it's because of the advance of technology. They're able to layer guitars in a way that their bands weren't previously. I'm sure others done it, but not quite the same way as Radiohead does, or even a track like this, Supersonic. The layers of the guitars, the way that they sit on top of each other, and then the harmonies on top. If you guys are catching the harmonies in the background, it's beautifully done, man. It all creates this wall of sound. It creates this giant epic sound that they've got going on.
what you wanna say, but before tomorrow, 'cause my friend said take you home. Sits in a car all alone. He lives under a waterfall. Nobody can see him. Nobody can ever hear him call. Nobody can ever hear him call.
That is, to me, the essence of what rock and roll music is, man. It's so full of life. Like, it's 3 in the morning, but they've transported me into a completely different mood, right? It's 3:30 in the morning, and I feel alive. And I think that's the point of this music, right? That's the point of Oasis that I took away from that documentary, was that their music is like a shot of life, and it's brilliant. I just love the sound of this thing. It's not trying to be something it's not, as the first couple of lines go. Radiohead's approach to music in the 90s was quite a different one. It was heady, really smart music. They were doing all types of different things, like Tool, for example. They added mathematics to their music. But these guys just want to knock your socks off. You got to give it up to Noel and his songwriting and his guitar playing, his compositions, and then obviously the singing, I think, also really brings it alive. Liam's got a great rock voice. All in all, I just think it's a brilliant statement of intent. The fact that this was their debut album, I can't wait to really get into the meat of their music. I've heard that even though Wonderwall and Don't Look Back in Anger are from the second album, I've heard the first album is actually their best. I guess you guys will let me know. It's something I definitely want to check out in full, and I'll probably be putting it on this channel, so you guys can look forward to that, and I guess I'll catch you then. Peace out.